I gotta show y'all, like, this Bible verse means so much to me. Like, this is my favorite. Verse is this. It's my lock screen. It's Jeremiah 42:6. It says, whether we like it or not, we will obey the Lord our God, to whom we are sending you with our plea. For if we obey him, everything will turn out well for us. You hear that? It says, whether we like it or not, we will obey the Lord our God, to whom we are sending you with our plea. Whether we like it or not, we will obey the Lord. I don't gotta like it, and I'ma still obey the Lord. Do you hear that? That's so crazy. Like, because a lot of times we get confused, right? We ask God, like, all right, God, like, what do I do in the situation? God, I don't know what to do. God, I need insight. God, do I go this direction or do I go this direction? Right? Do I date this person? Do I not date this person? Do I take this job? Do I not take this job? Which job do I take? How do I come about this situation? I'm going through something. I don't know what to do. And a lot of times we get confused because we're hearing all different things, right? We hearing so many different voices and we hearing insight from this person, what this person thinks, and then we hearing like our own thoughts, like, okay, this makes sense, and I like this, but I don't like this, and there's so much going on, and we just don't know. Right? We just don't know. We trying to hear from God, and we get mad at God because we like, God, like, you're not speaking. Like, God, why are you not speaking? Right? And we get confused, right? And like, we think we heard something from God, but we're like unsure it's from God. So like, since we're unsure it's from God, like, we become like double-minded, and we're over here someday, and now we're thinking this the next day, and like, now we're all over the place, right? And the reason it's like that, and I was just like this. I was just in a situation to where I was asking God for wisdom on the situation, right? I was asking God for wisdom on like how to come about like a move, right? On like moving somewhere. And God honestly told me, like, God, I was like unsure of like whether I'm gonna move to Houston or not, right? And truth be told, like, God told me like not to move to Houston months ago, right? But like, I wasn't really like sure of it, because like, I wanted to move to Houston, right? Like, I wanted to move to Houston. Like, it was a great situation, right? I wanted to do it, but like, God told me way in January of this year, it's August now, the move to Houston was gonna be in June, but I was gonna move in July, but the move in Houston was in June, early June. But God told me way in January not to move to Houston, right? But I wanted to move to Houston. Like, I genuinely wanted to move to Houston. Like, it was a dope situation. Like, it was gonna be nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the reason, and like, I wanted to be there. But I was asking God like what to do, right? And like, what he was saying didn't align with what I liked. So it's like what God's saying over here, and then there's like on this side is like what I like, and that is what I want to talk about. Then that's just a situation that I was in, right? And because like what God said and what I like didn't align, I was like going back and forth from this to this, and I was a double-minded man. I was double-minded, and when you're double-minded, right? When you're double-minded like that, second guessing what God told you, you become like a whirlwind, like, right? Like, you become like an ocean wave. Like, you get tossed around by the wind. Like, you over here one day, and then you over here one day. You don't know what to do, and you're questioning all these different things, right? And we get like that because we don't know, we haven't heard from God, or we think we haven't heard from God. But the truth of the matter is, you did hear from God. You know, you deep down inside, you don't want to admit that like what you've been hearing actually is from God. But like, now you've been hearing from God, right? But the truth of the matter is, it just don't align with what you like, right? Like, you getting confused because what God said ain't really the option that you wanted him to say, right? Because this is what God said, and this is what I want to do. And I really wanted God to like co-sign, like agree with what I like. Like, God, this is what I want to do. God, tell me to go right here. So when I go, so when I do this, it's gonna prosper and it's gonna go well. And if it doesn't go well, I can't be mad at myself for making a decision. I could be mad with you, and you could take all the blame for this because you told me to do it. But in all actuality, it was my doing, and this is what I wanted to do. But I don't want to take accountability and responsibility for that. That's the truth of the matter is, right? And God, I want you to bless this thing that I like. This is what I think this is best for my life, because I think I know what's best for my life. And like, I want to be the author and control of my own life. So God, can you like tell me to go here? Because if you tell me to go here, I'm gonna go here. And truth of the matter is, I'm gonna go here anyway, whether you tell me to go or not. I just want you to like co-sign it. I just want you to agree with it and tell me to go here. And I want you to bless it. So God, really, I'm not asking you where I want to go. Where should I go? God, I'm gonna go here. I just want you to bless it. And just so I can tell myself, God told me to go with this decision. And that's like our real thought process is like. And what I'm saying is, just because you don't like it, if you like praying for something, you need to hear God's voice. And a lot of us like don't think we hear God's voice, but the truth of the matter is, oh no, you hear God's voice. You hear God's voice. You don't have a problem with hearing God's voice, right? You just are in a place where you're just not spiritually mature enough yet to accept that God's voice may not always be what you like. Right? Like God's voice may not be what you like. And that's okay, right? A lot of things that God tell me is something I don't like, right? But just because you don't like it don't mean it's not from God, right? Like God may tell us something, and like I said, God may tell us to go this way, right? But and I know that, and in my deeper hearts, like deep down, I know that was God. Like I know God told me to do that, right? Like something in me is telling me like that was God. Like I know that was God, but I don't want to accept it because I don't like it. And I want to tell you guys, if that's you, if you're praying for something, if you need wisdom, if you have a decision to make, you are uncertain with your life, and there's something that's kind of in you, right? Like you have like this voice inside of you that's telling you like which way to go, but it's the way that you don't like. Just think about it. Like where could that way come from? Like, right? Like there's there's my way, right, that I want to go to, but like I'm stuck, I'm confused because there's another way deep inside of me that it's not from me. I don't know where it's from, but I don't like it, right? And it's like opposing the way I want to go, right? And I'm confused on like, what should I do? Because I don't know what God wants me to do. Really ask yourself this. If there's a voice inside of you telling you to go another way, right? That might be God, because it obviously ain't from you. It's not like your own thoughts, because you don't like that thought, all right? You don't like that thought, right? So obviously, you don't like it. So obviously it's not from you, right? So you could count that out, right? And it's not from the enemy either, because if anything, the enemy wants you to go with your way, right? The enemy wants you to go with your way, your route, because he wants you to go on the way that's opposing from God, right? So if you are uncertain, if you're a Christian, a young Christian particularly, right, and you have a decision to make, right? You're in a situation, you don't know what to do, right? And you have two different ways to come about it, right? You have the way that you kind of came up with, and like there's this other way that's kind of like just kind of lingering somewhere in your mind and your spirit, and it's like it's a real quiet option. Like it's a real quiet voice. It's like not super loud, and it only visits every now and then. Like it just kind of drops in your mind every so often. Really ask yourself, if I didn't put that there, if I didn't come up with that, somebody had to, right? And it ain't me, right? And it can't be the devil, because the devil would want me to do what I like and opposing what God's like. So if it ain't me, it ain't the devil, it gotta be somebody else. So I'm saying that to say, if you're confused on like which way to go, or if you're confused and you don't know what to do, and you have a voice if you hear an option, if you hear like a suggestion, another way, another route, or an answer, if you hear a possible answer and it's something that you don't like, Don't exit that out and think, well, since I don't like it, that's not from God. No, that's crazy. If I don't like it, hey, that might mess around and do be God, right? And I'm not saying just because you don't like something, everything that you don't like is from God. No, I'm not saying that. But I don't want you to cancel out the thought that just because you don't like something, that's not from God. I love y'all.